Hey fellas, it's been a while since I've done one of these again, and I know some people say, well, thank goodness, because what's this guy going to say this time? But I'm sitting out here on the porch of my barn doing a little study, and I came across something that really resonated with me. We've been through, at church at Sea Life, we've been going through a book written by a guy by the name of John Mark Comer called Practicing the Way. The gist of the book is being an apprentice of Jesus. In that book, he tells about how young Jewish boys, when they were just elementary school age, went to a school to learn the first 5 books of the Old Testament, what they would call the Torah, and practically memorized that word for word. Then they moved up to more of a middle school type scenario where they learned the rest of the the Old Testament, what they would call the Tanakh, and many of them memorized the entire Tanakh, if you can imagine that. At this point, they're teenagers, and then a decision is made by the instructors as to whether or not each individual is ready to be an apprentice of one of the great teachers or one of the great rabbis. Many of the young men were not able to do that, so they were sent back to their homes, their farms. Hey, go raise a family, go be a fisherman, whatever. But a few were allowed to apply to apprentice some of the very great teachers like Gamaliel or Hillel or some of the great rabbis of the time. When Jesus came and quickly established himself as a rabbi, he did it differently. He actually went out and found some of those young men, 12 to be exact, who had not been accepted to apply to apprentice a rabbi. They'd been sent back to work, to the fields, to the fishing. In John 15:16, Jesus says, "You didn't choose me. You didn't decide to apply to be an apprentice of mine. I came and found you. I chose you," which was completely counter cultural to what happened in those days. Now, I know there are some who believe that verse means something else, and that's a debate for another time. But what actually Jesus meant, I believe, to those young men at that moment was, I came and found you because I chose you rather than the normal way of you choosing me to apply for. What does that mean? I think it means, in all, is that we should look at following Jesus as being an apprentice of him. Every Christian knows the Great Commission. Go therefore and make disciples. Unfortunately, a lot of Christians today try to make disciples of themselves and their personal beliefs, when in fact we should be making disciples, apprentices of Jesus. We should be his apprentice, and we should make people apprentices of him, not apprentices of our certain interpretations. Why do we have so many denominations out there, so many different beliefs? Because somewhere along the way, men decided to try to make disciples of their belief of what Jesus said, their belief of what the Scripture says, rather than making true apprentices of Jesus Christ. So, something to keep in mind. Sorry I droned on for so long, but might be something you want to ponder over today. Y'all have a great one. Go out and do something good for the Lord today.